Welcome, everybody. It is Monday. It is August 12th, 2024, and we do this every Monday night at 7 p.m., and we've been doing this for quite a few years now. So I want to welcome everybody to this meeting, and legally we must say that these meetings are for educational and entertainment purposes only. What you hear tonight is not intended to treat, cure, diagnose anyone or anything, and that being said, it takes great discipline and changes in our mindset and habits to have these protocols work. We may not have any protocols tonight, but anytime someone does give advice, I just would like to remind everybody that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I have no special qualifications. I am experienced in some of these fields that we may talk about, and that is, for me, experience, I believe, is better than sometimes someone who doesn't know anything about what's going on in my body or your body, or somebody that you know and tries to treat, diagnose, or cure them, really has no idea what's going on inside of them. So with that being said, I can only tell you we do these calls based on experiences, mostly. There's scientific research, and there's teams that do the research many, many years ago that has been proven and tested. And so we're here to seek true, science-based, clinically proven methods in the use of nutrition to feel better. And so if you have a desire to make any changes in your lifestyle, you've come to the right place, and we're here to just, like I said, entertain you with education and the truth as we know it. So I'm going to try and play a recording here because I gave somebody some minerals today, and on the bottle I wrote, it's for Pica, and to take as needed. So if any of you do know what Pica is, you'll be able to actually know what I'm referring to. Those that don't know would probably want to listen to the call. And so I'm going to try and play this, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it. All right, give me a second here. Hold on.
Hey, welcome everyone to our Monday Night Telephone Health Conference Call, August 8th, 2022. This is Anthony, nurse, health coach, longevity distributor, Square One, Level 1 and 2 practitioner for Neurological Organization. Good to be here with you all. Excited about the topic for tonight. Very, very good. If you're listening to this, share it, let people know. This is foundational. It's a root factor in a lot of the health issues we're having. It's very, very foundationally important information. And before we get into the main topic for tonight, just do a little bit of housekeeping here. Just make sure if you're on this call, make sure to have your phone on mute when you're not talking. That way we can hear the talker loud and clear, and then just make sure when we open up the floor for health Q&A, when you do decide to talk, make sure to go ahead and put yourself on unmute. Just make sure to unmute yourself. That way we can hear you loud and clear. I'm going to go into the disclaimers, then we'll get into the main topic, then we'll open up the floor for dialogue regarding the topic, and then we'll meet the needs of the people on the call with health question and answer session here. We'll leave time for, again, meeting the needs of people on the call. So if people have a testimonial they'd like to share, if they have a question related to the longevity home-based business opportunity, recipes, etc., we'd like to keep it open here on this call. So That being said, I'm going to get into the disclaimers here. So disclaimers, first we'll start with the health disclaimer. So the intention of this call is to discuss strategies to support and promote optimal health. This call is not to be misconstrued as a doctor-patient relationship. We cannot officially say that the strategies discussed on this call are intended to treat, cure, reverse, or prevent disease. The intention is to discuss strategies to support and promote optimal health, and we do so by leaning on the growing mountain of scientific data and the great work done by pioneers such as Dr. Joel Wallach. In fact, we'll be reading out of one of his books today on our main topic tonight. But we do encourage people, if you have a health challenge, especially if it's complex in nature, let's say multiple health challenges, not a bad idea to secure the services of a local licensed regulated holistic physician, if at all possible, such as a naturopathic physician, to help you gauge the success or lack thereof of any particular strategy you're trying on for size, whether it's something you hear about on this call or outside of this call. Now, with the business disclaimer, we do leave time on this call to discuss the YOUNGEVITY home-based business opportunity. We like to be transparent and just say that we cannot provide 100% guarantee that if you get on board as a distributor with a YOUNGEVITY business opportunity, that you're automatically going to make a boatload of money. We can't even guarantee you're going to make any money, because just like any other endeavor, once you become a distributor, you have the free will then to take action on it. Some people may never do anything with it, and other people, maybe they don't apply themselves and learn the information. And the great thing is, with the YOUNGEVITY home-based business opportunity, there's an abundance of tools, training, material. We have our upline for support. We have the products that are top shelf, great products. So if you have a passion for helping people and to spread the good news of nutrition with people, spread the good news of supplementation with the 90 essential nutrients, and you have a desire to help people, you can really go a long way. We have people in this business that do really well, that make more than a full-time income from it. Like I said, some people make nothing with it because they don't really do anything with it. And then we have a lot of people in between. So you get out of it what you put into it. And, of course, there's a lot of great benefits of having your own home-based business opportunity, to have that taken action on. Taking advantage of that can reap dividends for you. So that being said, we're going to get into the main topic of tonight. We're going to discuss some strategies to help with pica, cribbing, general cravings, okay? But we want to start back here at a very important principle, which is a holistic principle, which is that our bodies were designed with wisdom, and our bodies know how to fix themselves. They're constantly trying to fix themselves. They're constantly trying to have an internal balance, homeostasis, to have great health and longevity. But we have some things to do as stewards of our health to make that happen. The body's working together all the time. It has wisdom. And so it's important, as we talk about pica, cribbing, cravings, to understand that if somebody has these issues, it's because their body has wisdom. It's like a check engine light on a car. It would be foolish, right, if you have a check engine light, just to find the electrical wire and snip it and just ignore the check engine light. Having pica, having cribbing, having cravings in general, these are signs of deficiencies in things that we need, that our bodies need, essential nutrients that our bodies need to do the work that they're intended to do with optimal health. So we want to go ahead and cover that, and we're going to read from this great book, one of my favorites, definitely a top 3 favorite book from Dr. Wallach, titled Rare Earths, Forbidden Cures. Again, this was authored by Dr. Joel Wallach and his wife, Dr. Malan. Great book. It serves as a part of the backbone of my medical library here at home. I encourage others to do the same, and encourage people, if you happen to have this book, you can feel free to read along with me. Otherwise, you can just listen in. But if you are interested in this book, all you got to do is go to drjwallach.com. That's drjwallach.com. That's drjwallach.com. Great website. Serves as a great repository for health resources, CDs, DVDs, books, etc., to equip you with life-saving, vitally important health information, real applicable strategies to help you support and promote the optimal health, not just of yourself, but of those in your life that you care about. So, that being said, we're going to jump into this book. So, Rare Earths, Forbidden Cures. I'm going to start on page 53. And this chapter here is titled Pica and Cribbing. Okay? And then in parentheses, Cravings and Binges. All right, and I'm going to read, there's a little quote from Joan Goldberg from American Health. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to just kind of read along with this here and talk about this topic, pica and cribbing, cravings and binges. We're going to talk about this in detail, just read through the book, then we'll open up the floor for dialogue and the rest of the concerns that people may have that need to be addressed on this call. So I'm going to go ahead and read this quote here. It says, "A food craving is like love at first sight. It's instantly recognizable, but veiled in mystery. Whether you crave a granola bar or a burger, substitutes will leave you wanting. A bowl of granola is not a granola bar, and a meatball is not a burger. Cravings demand the real thing. Unlike hunger, cravings, if unindulged, will persist on a full stomach. All I know was I wanted it, lusted for it. I had to have it." All right, so moving on under this heading, Chapter 4, Pica and Cribbing, Cravings and Binges. So obesity and overweight problems are synonymous with Americans. Nibble, nibble, nibble all the way home. Pica is a seeking, a craving with licking and chewing behavior that has its genesis in mineral deficiencies. Interestingly enough, neither vitamin deficiency, protein deficiency, or calorie deficiency initiates this pica behavior, nor will supplementing vitamins or eating sugar, carbohydrate, fat, or protein quench it. Since American soils are critically deficient and depleted in minerals, it is no surprise that pica, cribbing, and cravings dominate the American scene. America is minerally deficient. Dieters, athletes, vegetarians, meat eaters, embryos, children, teenagers, young adults, and seniors. The snack food and fast food industries are aware of this relationship between pica, cribbing, cravings, sugar binges, and salt hunger, and they use it to their advantage by liberally salting or sweetening their products. Unfortunately for us, our bodies temporarily translates sugar and salt consumption as a fulfillment of the craving for nutritional minerals. For instance, if we lack iron, salt or sugar will temporarily satisfy our pica behavior initiated by the iron deficiency. Historically, the consumption of salt to satisfy a pica behavior was of value because salt was not processed and did oftentimes contain trace minerals and rare earths. Today, salt consumption, although contrary to popular belief, is not in and of itself harmful. It does present the problem of allowing our bodies to think we are getting minerals, the equivalent of the empty calorie diets, i.e. processed food, calories without vitamins. Farmers and husbandrymen use the salt hunger of animals to ensure the consumption of trace minerals by incorporating trace minerals in salt blocks containing 85% salt. Anything less than 85% sodium chloride in a salt block will be ignored by the animals even if they have major mineral deficiencies. Cribbing is a name given to a particular form of pica in domestic animals. A good husbandryman knows when a horse or cow cribs, which is chewing or gnawing on a wooden feed box, fence, hitching post, or barn door, the animal really has a craving for minerals. Such mineral-starved animals will at first eat large amounts of supplemental minerals until they are satisfied. Then they will automatically reduce their level of consumption to a maintenance level. Salt appetite is very striking in both pregnant animals and humans. Bizarre cravings are legendary in the pregnant human. From antiquity, the description of cravings or pica in humans relates its major incidence to pregnant women. The Hawaiian king Kamehameha's mother, Queen Kekuiapoia, had cravings for eyeballs. Although she specifically wanted chief's eyes, she was given the eyes of sharks to eat. We have seen 100 pregnant sheep in Montana lined up along an embankment eating clay. This is a form of pica known as geophagia, or earth-eating. Geophagia is very common in minerally deficient pregnant humans. Pica, or perverted appetite or irresistible cravings with the eating of bizarre or unsuitable non-food substances or fattening non-foods, has been a curiosity for philosophers, doctors, and priests for thousands of years. Pica is a symptom of mineral deficiencies. So here it is. Pica as a symptom of mineral deficiencies is universal in the world and has been reported in animals and humans of all age groups. In modern times, the easy availability of candy, sugared high-calorie snacks, soft drinks, and junk foods has led to obesity when people feel the deep cravings of pica. A doctoral thesis on pica by Augustus Frederikus Myrgeletus begins with the definition of pica. The malady pica is called kita in Greek. Its derivation comes from the name of the common magpie, because the bird, pica, is a Latin name for magpie. Itself is believed to suffer from some malady because it flits from tree to tree, constantly seeking food, or because it enjoys all sorts of foods. A catalog of bizarre instances of pica is found in Myrgeletus' thesis. In men, he recorded one individual who ate leather, wood, nestlings, and live mice. Sounds like an initiation into a fraternity. A second consumed woolen garments, leather, a live cat, and some mice. A third ate cat's tails and decomposed human bodies with maggots. Oh, wow. In Myrgeletus' female subjects, he recorded women who ate human flesh, including one particularly horrible lady. She lured children with sweets, killed them, and pickled them for her daily fare. Sounds like a female version of Jeffrey Dahmer. The murders were only discovered when the woman's cat stole the pickled hand of a child and carried it over to the neighbor's house. The most common description of pica by Myrgeletus were of women's desire for mud and mortar scraped from walls, just like modern children who ate caulking and lead paint. We have often said that children who eat lead paint are screaming for minerals for their mineral-starved bodies. Give them minerals and they won't eat lead paint. Girls who ate their own hair, girls who ate cotton, thread from their own clothes, raw grain, and lizards. Myrgeletus also described pica in animals, including cats that ate wood ash and pregnant hunting dogs that ate unusual objects. Cooper, 1957, in her classic report on pica, refers to several ancient and medieval writers who emphasized the occurrence of pica in pregnant women, i.e., Aetios noted pregnant women to crave various and odd foods, some salty and some acid. Some, he said, crave for sand, oyster shells, and wood ashes. Aetios recommended a diet including fresh fruits, green vegetables, pig's feet, fresh fish, and old, tawny, fragrant wine. Boezo, 1638, so this is hundreds of years ago, people were noticing, making these observations, noted that pica occurred most often in pregnant women. Boezo saw pica as a physiological problem and is the first to mention iron preparations as a treatment for pica. He suggested 1 1/2 scruples of iron dross taken for many days as wonderfully beneficial for men and women. Boezo also noted the case of a virgin who was accustomed to devour salt in great quantities, from which chronic behavior she developed diarrhea and wasting. In parentheses, it says Addison's disease with a question mark. Christiani of Frankfurt, 1691, reported a woman who ate 1,400 salt herrings during her pregnancy. Leconte, 1846, suggested that animals eating earth do so because of want of inorganic elements. In modern times, the substances frequently reported as eaten as a result of pica behavior in humans includes paper, metallic gum wrappers, ice, dirt, coal, clay, chalk, starch, baking powder, pebbles, wood, plaster, paint, chimney soot, hair, human and animal feces, such as kitty litter box droppings, and cloth. Because of social constraints on our public behavior, most people under public scrutiny who display pica eat sugar, snack food, or soft drinks when they crave minerals. Many smoke, drink alcohol, or use street or prescription drugs in an attempt to satisfy a nagging underlying craving. Ice eating, called pagophagia, is also common, especially for iron-deficient children and adults. Worms have been reported as a cause of pica. Ankylostomiasis, ascariasis, oxyuriasis, and others have been blamed. Parasites, of course, can cause anemia and malnutrition by direct blood sucking from the host or by competing for food in the gut. The resulting anemia is in fact perceived by the body as an iron deficiency resulting in pica. Pica is more frequently seen in the poor and the obese. However, David Livingstone observed that both slaves and the gentry developed pica. In Africa, pica is viewed by tribal peoples as a magical, superstitious behavior. Henrock, 1831, attributed pica to paucity of good blood and lack of proper nutrition. Waller, 1874, reported that David Livingstone observed many cases of clay and earth eating, called geophagia, a frequent form of pica in pregnant women. All right, Orr and Gilka, 1931, and De Castro, 1952, recognized that edible earths might be rich in sodium, iron, and calcium. Galeford, 1945, reported that pica was common in Kenya amongst African tribes, the Kikuyu, living mainly on a vegetarian diet, but absent. So this is interesting. So here it is. Gelford reported that pica was common in Kenya amongst African tribes, the Kikuyu, living mainly on a vegetarian diet, but absent in those people eating diets rich in animal flesh, blood, and bones, such as the Maasai. Richter, 1955, reported Kirkham and Birch's analysis of 20 samples of edible clay from Africa. So I'm going to kind of move on here. There's a lot of different examples in history of people making observations about, signs of these nutrient deficiencies. So I'm going to go ahead and skip forward just a little bit here. All right. 2/3 of the 153 pregnant women studied by Taggart, 1961, developed cravings. The most common craving was for fruit, pickles, blood pudding, licorice, potato chips, cheese, and kippers. A craving for sweets, vegetables, nuts, and sweet pickles came in second place. Does that sound familiar to anybody who may have a history of pregnancy, or perhaps you know some pregnant people, right? They're trying to feed not just themselves but the babies. Their bodies and their wisdom know that they're missing things, and they get these cravings. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this and then go into some strategies. So phosphate appetite was described by Le Vaillant, 1796, as the anxious search by cattle in phosphate-deficient South African pastures for discarded dog bones, called osteophagia. They also chewed on wood, which is a manifestation of pica, and each other's horns. Bone chewing, osteophagia, a form of pica, has been reported in many wild species of herbivores. So even, animals that live off of plants, their bodies have wisdom. If they need to, they'll start chewing on each other's bones and horns to get what they need. And this includes reindeer, caribou, red deer, camels, giraffe, elephant, and wildebeest. We have seen elephant eating limestone roadbeds and large termite heaps as ready and available mineral supplements. A search for calcium-rich edible clays and soils and territorial disputes over limited supplies led to wars in tribal Africa. All right. So it was demonstrated that calcium-deficient weanling rats will consume large amounts of a lead acetate solution, even though they taste bad, when compared with calcium-fed controls. The Oriental diet is extremely low in calcium, leading them to habitually and preferentially eat bones. And Dr. Wallach puts a note here, says, when Dr. Malan and I were courting, she ate the bones and gave me the fillets, partially leached of the calcium with vinegar. So there's no evidence of a specific pica behavior for a magnesium supplement when laboratory animals are fed a magnesium-deficient diet. Magnesium-deficient animals will crave and eat common salt. Magnesium tastes bad enough that animals will die of magnesium deficiency-initiated seizures rather than consume a pure magnesium supplement. It has been suggested that recovery from a magnesium deficiency can be a very unpleasant process, enough so that the bad taste of magnesium supplements normally required for recovery exceeds the unpleasant features of the deficiency. A natural potassium deficiency is highly unlikely, as all grains, fruits, and vegetables tend to be rich in potassium. A potassium deficiency can be common in those individuals taking diuretics for high blood pressure or weight loss. Potassium-deficient rats are hyper-alert and lick everything, including their metal cage, lab equipment, each other, and urine puddles. It is of interest to note that even with a severe potassium deficiency, laboratory rats have a strong craving for sodium chloride. You see, this is why these food companies tend to put salt in everything. They know that we're minerally deficient. They know this. They know that our bodies have these cravings, but instead of actually giving us what they need, what do? They just have these nutrient-deficient junk foods that have salt, so they'll attract our cravings, right? We'll go to those things, but in the end, it's not giving us what we really need. Chromium and vanadium deficiencies are manifested by thirst for liquids, such as soft drinks being the usual first choice and water the last, and hunger for carbohydrates. So if you find yourself craving carbohydrates a lot, craving soft drinks, and some other examples, soft drinks, coffee and tea with added sugar, alcohol, pasta, desserts, bread, etc., be signs of chromium and vanadium deficiencies. The munchies, cravings for alcohol, and candy cravings, especially chocolate, are sure signs of a chromium and vanadium deficiency. The preteen and teenage infatuation with snack foods, drugs, smoking, and alcohol appears to be the result of pica, because they're so minerally deficient they're seeking something, anything to put in their mouth that will satisfy an irresistible craving for minerals. God help us. Through massive Hollywood film, television, newspaper, and magazine advertising, our culture guides our children to snack food, drugs, alcohol, and smoking rather than mineral supplements, just as surely as the Pied Piper hypnotized the rats to follow him with his pipe music. Okay. Now, of course, we know that Dr. Wallach doesn't just educate, doesn't just inform us, doesn't just entertain us, because, my gosh, that was entertaining for me just to read that. Again, I recommend this book. This is a great book, Rare Earths, Forbidden Cures. So much rich information on all the essential nutrients, and not just that, but it's done in a very informative way with great historic examples, as I've mentioned here. So, that being said, when it comes to solutions, thankfully Dr. Wallach has the track record, has put in his time to help people, to give them actual practical strategies. And this is what we really emphasize here on this call, the importance of the 90 essential nutrients. This is why he recommends the 90 essential nutrients for every person. 60 minerals. Remember, minerals is the class of nutrients we want to consider when you see somebody having a hard time. You know, if they're having pica, you see animals doing the cribbing, you see people just having this binging, constantly got to be having snacks around. The solution is the 90 essential nutrients with the emphasis on the minerals. And so what we bring to the table here in Longevity Nation is the fact that we have nutrition par excellence supplementation. The 90 essential nutrients can be found in a number of different health packs. Of course, you got the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. We have health packs that give the 90 essential nutrients plus extra support for any particular system. For instance, if it's a blood sugar issue, we have a Healthy Blood Sugar Pack, right? If it's an issue with the heart, for instance, we have the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Digestive system, we have a pack for that. We have packs to address pretty much any chronic health challenge. And, of course, to support the immune system, for instance, for acute health challenges. But the key is to get everybody on the 90 essential nutrients with the emphasis on the minerals. And so what we always recommend, too, what we recommend is, let's say somebody gets on Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Of course, we recommend people do it according to body weight, because a 700-pound person is going to need more nutrients than the 85-pound cancer patient, okay? We recommend each of these packs, for instance, per 100 pounds of body weight, and we recommend people throw in a bottle of our liquid plant-derived minerals per 100 pounds of body weight. And I'll tell you, for me personally, what I recommend is for essentially everybody, any adult, to have 2 bottles of plant-derived minerals per month to make sure they're getting 1,200 milligrams of plant-derived minerals per day, which, 1 ounce of the liquid plant-derived minerals will give you 600 milligrams. I generally, for my people I work with, I recommend, that they take 2. Now, if they're going through, if they're having a lot of cravings, they can take it more often. They can take it every few hours if they want. It's not going to hurt them. And most people are so severely minerally deficient. I tend to go a little heavy-handed on the minerals because, again, it's the minerals, the mineral deficiencies. People that are out there even, they may be able to get a pretty good amount of the other nutrients that are not minerals, but something you can take to the bank is that they're going to be minerally deficient. So this is why we really emphasize the minerals. And when we do this, and that's probably in my own personal experience working with clients for a number of years, that is probably the single most consistent result that I get back from people when I get feedback, when I get somebody started on a supplementation program. Almost the most consistent thing I hear back from people is that their cravings get diminished, that they're not craving, they don't have to eat so much, that they're not feeling compelled to just go into a drive-through somewhere and get some fast food. I know, I have people tell me that they're okay with fasting now, which of course we recommend people before they begin a fasting program that they are supplementing with 90 essential nutrients first. I know there's some differing opinions. I typically like to tell people that, to supplement for 90 days before you start or before you start going through a detox program, just because that way you can really nutrify yourself, increase your store of nutrients in the body. That way when you start going through detoxing process and these toxins are being released into the body, that your body's going to have more the nutrient capacity to deal with all of that. But by far, in my experience, and I'm sure Dave and Pam could attest to this and others on this call, whether it's in their own lives or the lives of others they know, their customers, I will tell you that the single most common thing I hear back as a result of taking the supplements is that, hey, people, they don't feel like they have to eat as much. Their appetite's more under control. That's the amazing thing when you give their bodies the raw materials. Now, think about that, from a business standpoint too, right? A lot of people are kind of superficial in what they want, and maybe that might mean they're just trying to get a handle on their weight so that they can look good in a bikini or a bathing suit, and that they struggle. And I see this all the time. People, especially with weight issues, or they just have cravings. They just can't seem to control their appetite. They'll get on a program for 30, 60, maybe 90 days. They'll go full out. They'll restrict their calories. They'll exercise. But your body in its wisdom, no matter how strong-willed you are, at some point, the chickens are going to come home to roost, and the wisdom of your body is going to say, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not getting the nutrients I need to begin with, and now you're going to restrict calories. I'm even more nutrient deficient now. And that's when you see people that, what do after they try to force themselves into dieting without supplementation properly? At some point, the dam's going to break. They're going to get up one night. They're going to go into their fridge like Homer Simpson, and they're going to just binge eat, and they're going to keep eating, and it's going to eventually get to the point where their weight's going to come back, and it's going to come back more than it was before, because they're not addressing the root issue, which is their body has a wise calling for the nutrients it needs. So we have a lot we can do to help people here. This isn't Jenny Craig. This is better. This is getting more to the root of why people have these cravings. Not just good for humans, obviously for animals. And a little thing that we've talked about before on this, we talked about how, these farmers, the husbandrymen, they know that if they see their horse or their cow chewing on a gate, chewing on a fence, they know they got to provide those nutrients. They got to provide the minerals. And this is also because they can't afford health insurance. They're not going to do a $50,000 hip replacement surgery on a pig So what do they do to keep the animals healthy, keep them stable? Oh, they're going to give them the essential nutrients. And then when they want to fatten them up at the end of their lives, when they want them to have that uncontrolled eating, those cravings, what do? They take the minerals away, and then they put on a bunch of weight, because that way they can knock them in the head and butcher them and have that nice fatty marbled meat that they can sell and make their good profits. So we can learn a lot from the farmers and how they deal with things. And we need to think along similar lines here, give ourselves the raw materials our bodies are calling for in their wisdom. So anyway, I yield. Thanks, everybody. Again, I recommend this book. If you haven't got it, if you're listening to this call, I highly recommend get on over to drjwallach.com, drjwallach.com. Get your hands on this book. You can help save your life, save the lives of those around you, by educating yourself. This is a great book. So I'm going to go ahead and yield. Thanks, everybody. We'll open up the floor. If you have a health question or comment, open up the floor for health Q&A. And or if you have any comments, any questions related to this topic I mentioned that we've been discussing, I'm open to that. Just open up the floor for meeting the needs on this call here. I yield. Thanks, everybody. All right.
Excellent call, Anthony. That's really great information, and we don't hear that stuff enough. I know when I first got involved with Doc, I used to hear that stuff every day, listening to Doc's radio, and you get so busy, you just don't have the time to tune in all the time, and it really helps when you read these books. So I, for one, appreciate what you read, and just reaffirmed, stuff I learned from Doc over the years, and it definitely works. And while we were sitting here, I was getting so hungry I had to go gnaw on a cedar wood fence post.
I love it, man.
And it was good. Yeah.
Very good.
We all need to be reminded about those fence posts. Keeping them boundaries.
That's right.
Thank you.
Well, very good. This is a big deal, folks, and I know, we have people on this call that have faithfully been getting on for years. And I know, I don't mean to, as they say, beat a dead horse or anything, but I really am a believer, and I see Dr. Wallach do the same thing. And I think that's a lesson that I think we all could be reminded of and remind ourselves is, although this may seem like information that we've covered, and we have covered similar information, although we like to have a diversity of topics talked about, which we do, mastering the basics, making this our own, that when we hear this message enough, when we're reminded of it, it just becomes ingrained in us. I know the more that I listen to this information, that I read this information, it gets assimilated into myself to where it becomes just part of my life. I wouldn't think about living any other way of just walking around like I used to be before supplementing, being deficient, eating like crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy eating, and I like to indulge here and there, but I don't have this primal, like, drive that I have to eat all the time. And, I see this, I have my family and friends, and I've seen throughout the years what happens when people have these uncontrolled cravings. They're not getting addressed like they should, and so what ends up happening, and this is a big thing behind the diabetes and obesity epidemic, people get just these unsatiable cravings, which we know are nutrient deficiencies, minerals in particular. And because of this environment we live in, what's the thing to do? And our people's lives get caught up in this search for trying to deal with these cravings, but they're going about it wrong, because it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? Oh, I was going to do that. I was going to do that productive thing, but man, I could really use a 7-layer burrito from Taco Bell. Oh, McDonald's got those salty deep fried fries. Oh, I got to do that. Oh, Wendy's got that Frosty. Oh, I'm going to do that. Oh, Subway's open. I want a pepperoni sub. It's part of our culture. Oh, I'm going to carry around a 2-liter of Mountain Dew and sip on that. I enjoy the satisfying taste of that. It's like, okay, and then you're hungry 30 minutes later, or thirsty. We're not giving our bodies what they need, and then you see people, of course, the sort of food that's typically around people end up eating the junk food and nutrient deficiencies, bad food all the time, all because their bodies have these cravings that aren't getting addressed. And if it did, they would be more able to not have those urges and could put a little bit more thought into what they eat. And so, anyway, I yield. Anybody else? Anybody have any health questions or concerns? We started just a little late on the call, so but we are getting close to 8 o'clock. So I want to invite anybody that, if you have a health question, supplementation protocol question for yourself, for a loved one, etc., if you have any comments, anything you'd like to share, please don't be shy. You're welcome to get on board here. Okay. Well, feel free, if anybody has anything they'd like to share or ask, please feel free to interrupt me, okay? But in the meantime, I'm going to fill the dead space here. When it comes to practical strategies, this is one reason why, and I'm thankful that I have Dave and Pam as my upline, because they don't just talk the talk, they walk the talk. I had the honor of going up there a few years ago. I'd driven from Indiana to Michigan. Dr. Glidden was presenting up in Michigan. I wanted to see him, and then I also knew I was going to be able to meet Dave and Pam and spend some time with them at their home, which I did. And I went into their home, and I saw for myself, wow, they really do walk the talk. They, and especially in this day and age with the economy and how it is, inflation, you're seeing pretty much everywhere you go, prices are going up, right? Especially, my heart goes out to, I have local business owners, small business owners here. I talk with them. I openly talk with them and say, hey, how's it going? How are you doing with inflation? Oh my gosh, this product that I have to make my food, it's gone up by 2-3 times. The fuel to go catch my fish has gone up astronomically, et cetera. A lot of people are struggling. And so this idea of being prepared is so fundamentally important. This is why, and I'm thankful Pam is good about sharing of the double QV and the different promotions going on. It's a good idea, folks, to have not just the supplements we need for ourselves, but to have some extra on board And one of the reasons I say that is when it comes to helping people, when it comes to growing your longevity business, if you have a desire to do that, that has been instrumental for me. Proof of the pudding is in the eating. So, for instance, this is a practical way to kind of help people get initiated. So we've had for the last year, he ended up, the last time he was here was in March, and I've talked about him in the past, my buddy Sean Sherman. He's the one that developed the Square One system for neurological and sensory integration optimization. Dr. Glidden had interviewed him a number of years ago. Dr. Glidden recommended him to work with my girlfriend Dina for her health challenges. And we saw such fantastic results. We flew him from up north down to Tampa, and he would stay with us at our studio here. And I remember that first time he was here, and, he was working with so many people, so many different sessions while he was here with us for a number of days. So he was on his feet working with people, long days. We would cook for him. And I knew, of course, we wanted to make him hydrated. So I would be offering him water, but I wouldn't just give him water. Thank God I had extra supplements around. And I would just put in some of those plant-derived minerals. I remember putting some cherry mins in, some Rebound FX, or you could just have plant-derived minerals, just the normal, unflavored, and then put some Rebound in there. And I would give that to him, and he liked the taste. He enjoyed it. It was satisfying. And within that small amount of time of him staying for us, by the end of that time, he was like, he ended up writing a testimonial for me on this, is that, he had throughout his life kind of would have this low grade sort of binging where, he would just eat a lot, have that voracious appetite. And he had noticed from that small amount of time being with us and giving him these nutrients with the emphasis on the minerals, that he noticed that his cravings, he just noticed he didn't feel that urge to have to eat so much, and he liked it, and he liked the way it made him feel. And so he ended up becoming a customer of mine and started getting the supplements. And so, this is a practical way, is just having some of that around the house. When you have your guests over, you can just pour it in there. Say, hey, I know you gotta drink something here, and here it is. Tell them this has got some great minerals in it. Let them taste it. Let them try it for themselves. And I'll tell you, when you do that, that's a great opportunity for them to see how it makes them feel, how it tastes to them, and that can be a great opportunity for them. And especially these days, a lot of people, especially with COVID and everything that's happened, I think a lot of people are waking up to the suffering that small businesses have gone through. So I'm seeing more and more people with this desire that, hey, if they find something that's of true value, like the longevity products offer, and if it's being provided by somebody who they know, who they've built trust up with, who they know is a small business owner, what I've seen is that people, especially when you have a good deal, right, bottle of minerals for $20-something, depending on if it has, if it's cherry mins or strawberry kiwi mins or the regular whatever, people just, when you allow them that opportunity to experience the products like that, in my experience, that's been a great way to help initiate people to start supplementing their bodies. And that's a great feeling, knowing that when you can introduce something to somebody and you can plant that seed, and oftentimes, maybe not every time, but oftentimes people will, once they see the value, they'll get on board and they'll start supplementing, and you can rest knowing that you shared that with them, that you got to help provide a missing puzzle piece to somebody's health that wasn't getting addressed. So anyway, It's very fulfilling work that we have the opportunity to be involved with here. So I'll go ahead and yield again. Does anybody else have anything? We're getting close to the end of the call here. Anybody have any
Tony,
things they'd like to mention or questions?
Yeah, I got a couple things. First of all, I got to, confer what you just said, because we've done that here. We've given a lot of products, to people to try at our home, and it's the best place to do it. And but just so you guys know, we are part of a multi-million-dollar company. Okay, we got a lot of different products, and we've got a lot of different services. Well, one of our products is coffee. We own 2 coffee plantations. They're 1,000-acre mountaintops. Think about that. 1,000 acres. That is huge. And coffee is the number 2 commodity in the world behind oil. Oil is number 1. Coffee is the second largest selling product on the planet. And it's also the number 2 beverage in the world behind water. If it didn't take water to make coffee, coffee would be the number 1 beverage. Now, we own these 2,000-acre coffee plantations. We put our minerals in the soil, and we spray the plants with liquid minerals, so we don't use any pesticides or herbicides or any chemicals on this coffee. And all coffee is it's the most heavily pesticided and herbicided plant on the planet, plus they use fillers once they grind it to make it go farther. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, we also own the coffee roasting company in Miami. We roast our own beans. We ship them. We are out of coffee, people. We are out of coffee. We have a very, very limited supply. I don't even know. I didn't check today to see if we had coffee, but we have probably 20 different, blends of coffee, and we only have 4 available in very small quantities. We cannot get our own coffee shipped from South and Central America to Florida. That's what's going on with the supply chain. So the reason Anthony is saying, have extra stuff on hand, today we went to go get a tire fixed. I bought tires. Well, my son bought tires on his truck about 2 years ago, and he paid $450 for a set of 4 tires on a truck, big tires. And I know I negotiated roadside warranty, for flats, and if they can't fix the flat, they replace it. They say I didn't have that. And we had a pinhole. He's had a slow leak in his tire for pretty much since we got him. And he finally went in last week. Took 3 hours to find the leak, and they said they fixed it. Well, they didn't even look for it. They were talking about his spare tire that, on a 19-year-old vehicle, the tire's underneath, a full-size tire, and it's dry rotted. Well, that wasn't the problem. We took it back today for him because he works midnights, and they found a pinhole that they could not repair, and now you got to replace both tires on the same axle, and the other tires are in pretty good shape still, but you can't just have one brand new tire and 3 old ones, right? So 2 tires to replace cost more today than it cost us to buy those same 4 tires 2 years ago. $280 they want, for 2 tires. We paid $450 for all 4. And no, it's $480, I'm sorry. $480 for 2 tires. Now, this is what's going on out there. So, coffee drinkers, I could never. We went to an assembly meeting here a couple of weeks ago, and I normally don't drink coffee because I don't have my own coffee, and, not seeing very well. I don't like to use bathrooms if I don't have to when I'm in strange places. Well, the coffee was brewing, and it smelled great, and I asked Pam to get me a half a cup. I spit it back out in the cup. I couldn't drink it. It was so horrible, and it was probably coffee that I drank my whole life. And now that I've been drinking real coffee with no poison in it, you can really tell when there's poison in the coffee.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
And now, I put in a pretty good size order here last week to get some coffee, and it's coffee that I don't normally buy, but it's still Youngevity coffee. So I'll drink any kind of Youngevity coffee that I can get now because I can't get what I want. But I won't buy it from the store. And guess what? The coffee may still be available out in the stores with, for that poison stuff. But to get real coffee, they're blocking it, folks. So are they doing, a lot of our nutrition has been on and off the back order list. We were with Youngevity since 2011. We never had a back order on any product ever until COVID.
No, that's wrong, because you had taken Occutive and your eyes were getting better. I remember you saying.
Yeah. Okay, what? So Occutive, when we first got it, they had a small shipment, and everybody tried it, and everybody wanted it again. And when I went to reorder, it wasn't there, and it took quite a while to get it. Now, that was a few years before COVID.
WQV,
So what Pam and I, what we're trying to reiterate, we really hate making money off you guys. That's why when we tell you, when you buy your minimum amount in order to get paid if you have a downline, you buy the minimum amount, and anything else you need, you buy it underneath somebody else that you've set up in the system as a customer or distributor, so you get paid for buying your own products. We get our 8%. Great. You guys, when you buy from yourself, whether it's your dog or your cat or your bird or your mouse or your sister or your brother or your daughter or your nephew, I don't want to leave anybody out. It can be anybody. And you have it shipped to yourself. You pay for it, but you get a rebate back because you get paid for those other orders. Don't buy it all, under yourself and then, have it all roll up to your upline. We don't want that. We want everybody to, try to at least get your products paid for, or at least get a discount on them by buying them under somebody else in your downline that you have in your own home, so you have it shipped to yourself. So that's what we're about, helping others, get their health, their wealth, and their time back. And we got a lot of opportunities in Youngevity for that. So take a look at your websites. Take a look at your David Allen Capital, David Allen Services. There's a lot of people helping a lot of businesses out there, and they're getting paid handsomely for it. So you folks that can't afford your nutrition, go and look at David Allen Capital, because you get one funding or two fundings a month, and then I heard a guy on the training call today, he's got over 200 agents under him, and this guy he's brand new. He's only been in the business for like 5 or 6 months. He's already got 200 people that he's recruited that are doing that, and they're all getting paid. They're all helping businesses, because 82% of all small businesses cannot get funding, and they need it right now, or they're looking at going under. This guy got on this website for these businesses that were for sale, and he talked to some of the owners, and he's like, how come you're selling, as if he wanted to buy them, and he's like, how come you're selling your business like a tire company? This tire guy does tires, and he says, well, I've been a business owner for a long time, and I love it, but my daughter got cancer, And I can't. I've been trying to get funded from my bank for a couple of years now, and I can't, and I don't know what else to do. So he's trying to sell his business. And this guy said, well, I might be able to help you. So now he's going to put in an application to see if he can get funded from David Allen Capital so he can save his business. He doesn't want to sell it. He wants to keep it, but he didn't have any other options. So there's opportunities like that to help other people and get paid for it. That's what this is about, helping people, and you get paid for that. And, we have a saying, it's one team, one dream, one mission. That mission is Dr. Wallach's mission, and we don't get paid until we complete our mission. So it's mission before commission. So there's some people that might be in it for the money, but we aren't. We never were. But hey, that's all we do now. So we do get paid for helping people, and we're not getting rich. Just so you know, we're still struggling over here, buying our own stuff, and but we want to help more people so they can help more people.
So when you give them the sample, you can start them that way. We kind of mentioned that before. You give them a sample, get their name, and you can have that account started, have that being delivered to your home under their name because it's a new customer, and then you contact them again, and then when you contact them, tell them you already have a preferred account ready for them. Preferably you want to contact them within the next, week, 3 days, or sooner, And then because, Anthony, can you tell us about that timeline? If you're still there.
Oh yes, I'm still here. Are you referring to the timeline as far as for the first 30 days for getting the initial bonus, like the 30% commission for the first 30 days? Is that what you're referring to? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a great strategy. One, it gets the ball rolling. A lot of people, at first, and they'll be like, well, how do I get started? Well, as a distributor, we have the opportunity with time to get that repetition, to get an order placed, either through to get them set up with a free preferred customer account, to help them get started on a supplement program. We can kind of help get the ball rolling, whether, if we have that interaction, whether it's a friend or somebody that we ran into that is interested, we can get them set up as a preferred customer. And the benefit is when you get them signed up, and let's say they place an order, within that first 30 days of them signing up as a preferred customer, okay, you as a distributor, as long as you are getting your minimum for being able to get the 30% commission, you actually, for the first 30 days of customers, or it could be a distributor as well, for that first 30 days, any purchase that they make, you can get about 30% commission on their volume of products. And that's a big deal. And so I kind of give you an instance, like I see this for new families, or, like let's say it's a family, and let's say a husband and a wife, or they have some children, and let's say they want to get supplements, whatever it may be. This is an example of where you can actually help that person actually get, a bigger thank you check, and it works the same for yourself. If you get that person, so in this case that Pam's referring to, signed up as a preferred customer, you have that 30 days where any products they purchase within that 30 days, you actually get 30% commission on that volume. Now, after 30 days, it goes back to the typical 8%. Of course, we have a compensation guide that talks, because obviously you have people that can be at various levels of your downline. So, if they're far enough down, you might not get 8%. It might be like 7 or 6%. But regardless, in this situation, if you sign them up, you can get 30% commission in that 30 days. And that's a big thing because, one, they want to get products anyway, and then two, you can make sure that that's when you can get that 30% commission. And I have it to where, for me, like when my family started getting involved, or maybe even if it's a pet, I can sign that person up, and then like Dave talked about, I'll just get supplements, and for my auto ship, for instance, I'll just get maybe around $100 and something worth of supplements that I'm going to use for myself, and then the rest that I might be getting for myself and my partner, for instance, I can actually just put that on one of my newer customers. I can transfer that order to one of my newer customers who had signed up, and within if it's within their first 30 days, you can transfer that order over to them, and that way you're getting 30% commission. So, we could do a whole other call based on that, because there's some little details that would need to be discussed. But yeah, that's the benefit. It's that 30-day timeline for the higher commissions, which means a little more money. It's no extra expense to that person at all. They're just buying those products. Products are being purchased that'd be purchased anyway, but it's that first 30 days is key. So I just wanted to mention that. Thanks, Pam, for asking.
Thank you, Anthony. Sorry, I was just putting some things away. Yes, great call again, and we always appreciate you reading to us. You articulate everything very well, and we appreciate you being on the call. We want you to get on Wednesday, too, So Dr. Wallach does appreciate, having the people come to his meetings, and it's vital. It's vital to people to feel good that people are listening and heeding his instruction, and just taking care of our own bodies ourselves. So, and those things we've learned through his books and teaching. So I appreciate it and all he's done, and his family. Thank you.
And Dr. Milan's birthday today, 75 years old.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome. You say today?
Birthday's today. 75 years old.
So many people I know are born on August 8th. My grandmother was born August 8th. I know a lot of people. It's a popular day, apparently. Birthdays. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for being on this call. We will look forward to connecting again next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. We love these calls. Again, like Pam alluded to earlier, we have our time to connect available for Dr. Wallach Live, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time each Wednesday. I try to get on that as much as I'm able to here lately. The timing hasn't worked out, but hey, get on there as much as you're able to. You can bring your customers, bring your people that have concerns, invite them on. It's an opportunity to connect with Dr. Wallach, and there's something powerful about when you can actually connect somebody with an actual doctor. That speaks very powerfully to a lot of people. And so anyway, I yield. Thanks for everybody being on this call. Again, invite people on this call. Please, if you have a guest speaker that, let's say yourself or someone you may know that would be interested in getting on, we're open to having a conversation about that and for having guest speakers. So anyway, I yield. Did I hear somebody mention something?
Yeah, may I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Anthony, for all you do. I enjoy listening to you. And I want to thank Pam and Dave. They've helped me out a lot. And keep up the good work. And I yield.
Hey, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And we
keep up the good work.
Yeah,
you're awesome.
Really appreciate you.
You're all awesome. And we love you all. And yep, it's a big family. You guys are like family.
Definitely. And we look forward to connecting. And in the meantime, hope you all have a blessed week. To your health, prosperity, and longevity. Y'all take care.
Ditto.
God bless. Good night.
God bless. Good night.
Good night.